Reminder, your masks need to be worn covering your mouth and your nose at all times. We know it's uncomfortable, but it's for your safety and everyone else around you. Thank you. you. You rock. Okay, students, your faculty will be arriving shortly. They're going to be processing in. When you start to see them come across, we're going to ask you to stand and remain standing until after the invocation. Thank you. Allison freaking. Let's go. Why do we even bother talking to people, sending them things in writing?
Huh?
Why do we even bother talking to people directly, sending them things in writing?
Oh, I know.
Come on. Go.
Good afternoon and welcome, administration, faculty, and student honorees. Please stand for the playing of our national anthem and remain standing for our invocation, which will be offered by Jeff Schaefer, Director of Campus Ministries.
Good afternoon. As a Mercy School of Higher Education, the success of our institution is closely linked to the strength of our community. As stated by St. John Paul II, a Catholic university pursues its objectives through its formation of an authentic human community animated by the Spirit of Christ. At the start of this new academic year, we gather as faculty, staff, administration, and the students of Georgian Court University, a community which now turns to God in prayer. Good and gracious God, bless and animate our academic community for the year ahead. Inspire us with love of truth and beauty, so in every field of study we may learn with open hearts and minds. Instill in us a sense of wonder, so we may discern your sacred presence in the world around us. Instruct us on your boundless compassion and mercy, so our hearts will be drawn to those most in need of service and justice. Impart to us a glimpse of how each person is seen in your eyes, so we may honor the human dignity of every person and live with them in solidarity. Invigorate our spiritual lives, so our human flourishing may be complete and whole. Gracious God, unite us as a Catholic university in the mercy tradition. Then, echoing the words of Catherine Macaulay, may the union that exists among us draw the favor and the blessing of heaven. This we humbly ask of God. Amen.
Please be seated. Each year, Convocation marks the official beginning of the academic year. For continuing students, it is a chance to recognize achievements from the previous academic year and introduce student leaders. For new students, it is our chance to welcome you to our academic community. You have chosen to join Georgian Court. In doing so, you have chosen to join a community where relationships matter. This year, they matter even more as we spend time apart and mostly interact virtually. Even so, make the effort and resolve to get to know your faculty, your advisors, and the staff. Talk to them about your ambitions. Find out about their career paths and find opportunities to work on research, participate in events and activities, gain experience, and engage in the community. Georgian Court faculty and staff are ready to support you on your path to graduation and a future of opportunity. You can see so many of them here today. Make friends with your fellow students and support each other, especially in these crazy times. Friends from college often become lifelong resources, trusted because of the common experience you share. Take advantage of all that is offered here. Watch email or follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Many events have already been announced, and I'm especially proud of the events planned by the Council for Diversity and Inclusion, which includes Lions Table Talk on September 17th, our second one, and a university-wide book reading on anti-racism that will be announced shortly. Georgian Court Lions are leaders. They stand up, they don't stand by. They embrace the Mercy core values and critical concerns, including racism and the environment, in order to be informed contributors to a just and respectful society. They serve others and act with integrity and compassion. That's what unites us and makes Georgian Court a special place of interconnected people. It is now my pleasure to present the president of Georgian Court University, Dr. Joseph Morbach, who will offer an official welcome to today's ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost Warner. Good afternoon. Okay. It's mild, but it's hot, I understand. Simon Sinek, one of today's leading public intellectuals and best-selling authors, advises leaders to start with the question, why? So students, I have a question for you. Why? Why are you here? By that, I mean, why have you chosen to attend Georgian Court University to further your education? Individually, among our new students, there are over 400 reasons and answers to that question, why. Each of you has his or her own reason. Collectively, however, there's a single answer, and that is to get the best education possible to prepare you for the rest of your lives. At Georgian Court, this education is values-based. For our undergraduate students, we are committed to your formation as persons in right relationship to one another, your community, your world, and your faith. As this pandemic has taught us, our lives and our futures are intertwined. We cannot, nor do we want to live without one another. Our mercy-inspired education informs and inspires us to care for one another as persons created in the image of our Creator. This mercy-inspired education is needed now more than ever as our country comes to terms with issues of racism, diversity, and inclusion. Too often, we view those who look or act differently than us as the other and fail to see their value as persons. Events in Minneapolis and Kenosha remind us that we must do more to address these issues. The social unrest that we have experienced this summer will not be quieted until we do so. Today, we are here to celebrate the opening of a new academic year and to reaffirm our mutual commitment to providing the best education possible. And we do it aware of the world and our surroundings and those events. Our gathering today is designed to place particular emphasis on the university's academic mission and to introduce our new students who have excelled in their studies as academic leaders in our community. We will also recognize academic leaders later in the program. It also includes the faculty who have served as guides and mentors to these students. You will soon hear from a faculty speaker who has been recognized for her teaching excellence. But first, in addition to the new students, we also welcome several new faculty members to our learning community. Some are here while others are watching online. I won't embarrass them by asking them to stand, but I do ask you to join me in applauding them in welcoming them to our community. This occasion, our academic convocation, affords me the opportunity to reflect on our academic mission. As a Mercy institution, we are dedicated to service. Educating members of the community, especially those who have traditionally been underserved, is our primary method for serving our community. In short, educating the community is our raison d'être. It's why we exist. In our new strategic compass, or strategic plan, ensuring and maintaining academic excellence is one of our guiding principles. A second guiding principle is providing an exceptional student experience. For Georgian Court, the two objectives are intricately linked. Students are the North Star that anchors our strategic compass, And the most important service we can provide to our students is offering them an excellent education, both inside and outside the classroom. We do this in accordance with a rich Catholic tradition that enables the university to provide a program of student formation designed to produce persons who are empowered to shape a just and compassionate world. This ambitious undertaking involves many members of our community. Students, you have a responsibility to yourselves, your families, and to the community to demand a high-quality educational experience. Know what is expected from you to excel in the classroom and make steady progress toward achieving your degree. Be serious about your studies, but remain open to new experiences and opportunities. Challenge yourself. You may not always be successful, but you will learn about yourself in the process. The faculty are the chief stewards in ensuring and maintaining our high academic standards. As our student award winners can attest, the teacher scholars assembled today have served as instructors, mentors, and guides in their academic journeys. For our new students, these men and women are committed to do the same for you. We honor the faculty today for their commitment and service to our students, their academic disciplines, and to the university. Indeed, this is an accomplished group. Last year, the faculty produced over 100 pieces of scholarly work and achievements, including books, book chapters, journal articles, conference papers, and presentations. I encourage our students and other members of the audience to visit the university's website to view this collection of work. Just search the term Faculty Focus on our main page. Students, please join me in recognizing the faculty by giving them a round of applause. Thank you, faculty, for all you do for the university. I also thank the staff, administration, and coaches who contribute to the unique learning environment that's been created at Georgian Court. These individuals are committed to your success and will assist you as you expand possibility to reach your goals and achieve your dreams. Like the faculty, they relish their role as mentors and their relationships with the students they serve. If you haven't figured it out by now, education at Georgian Court is a community effort where we invite students to pursue academic excellence integrated with the Mercy Corps values. As the university developed our new strategic plan, we learned that the nature of our students is changing. Years ago, people had one thing in mind when they mentioned the term college student. Today, that term has a different meaning. You are the face of GCU. You are the future of higher education. Your learning will not be limited to a book or a seat in the classroom. You will study in New Jersey and overseas. You will learn online, in small groups, in flipped classroom, and in high-tech labs. But most of all, you will learn from one another and from an accomplished faculty who want to see you do amazing things with your lives. Speaking of our accomplished faculty, it is now my honor to introduce the Virginia Graham Class of 31 Award for Teaching Excellence for 2020. This award is presented to a faculty member nominated by his or her peers who demonstrates outstanding leadership, teaching, and mentoring skills and a strong commitment to inspiring and helping students. This year's honoree is Dr. Catherine Quinn Sanchez, Professor of World Languages and Cultures, Chair of the Department of World Languages and Cultures, and Chair of the Faculty Assembly. She has been at Georgian Court since 2005. Dr. Quinn Sanchez is a full professor and, as I mentioned, Chair of the Department of World Languages and Cultures. She thoroughly enjoys the opportunity to facilitate and witness the students growing both in the subject at hand as well as individuals. She strives to create an open, comfortable atmosphere in her classes. In her language learning classes, She focuses on the particular skills of reading, writing, listening, and culture with a strong emphasis on speaking, so that through immersion, the students tend to learn the target language accurately and improve their abilities rapidly. In literature courses, Dr. Quinn Sanchez guides her students in developing strategies to improve their reading skills, which invariably tend to spill over into areas such as their writing and speaking due to vocabulary building and the development in their interpretive skills. She teaches her students that there are many ways to read a text, and therefore many readings are valid. However, there must be textual evidence for their interpretations to stand up to criticism. As a mentor for her students, she also stresses that they study abroad at some point in their careers to gain advanced proficiency level and to live what they have learned. An active and prolific teacher scholar, Dr. Quinn Sanchez most recently published work includes Contemporary U.S. Latinx Literature in Spanish and Not White, Straight, Male, or Healthy Enough, Being Other in the Academy. She constantly updates and revises her methods based on the best practices of her peers at other institutions and feedback from her students. Her ability to maintain quality while adapting to change makes Catherine Quinn Sanchez a most fitting honoree for this award. I'm happy to welcome to the podium Dr. Catherine Quinn Sanchez.
Welcome student government leaders, award recipients, and new students. Welcome faculty, administration, and trustees. And thank you for this honor. Muchísimas gracias to join you today as the recipient of the 2020 Virginia Graham Award winner for excellence in teaching. I am humbled and grateful to my colleagues for choosing me for this award. Today, as this is a celebration of scholarship, I would like to share a few excerpts from an article I wrote a few years ago. It is quite pertinent, and I hope that you will be inspired by its theme of social justice. On that note, I would like to dedicate this presentation to all of Georgian Court students and faculty of color, as well as our staff and administrators of color. Throughout history, our universities have existed to create and defend exclusive social locations, while present-day universities allow for the education of women of all colors, although not in every society. Racialized and gendered hierarchies have been normalized for centuries. White has equated to purity, color to unclean, male to strong, and female to weak. This binary thinking extends to the social and geographical landscapes, with the city being equal to civilization, male to rational and female to emotional. Always there is a hierarchy involved in the binary. One is superior to the other. That which is othered is considered and normalized to be inferior. In the words of the feminist Irigaray, and I quote, "That which is labeled as she is indefinitely other." In discussing knowledge creation, the superior voice has historically been masculine, white, and upper class. We continue to live the ramifications of such stratifications across society as a consequence of binary thought patterns continuing to be cultivated in our universities, where ideas, not dollars, are the valuable currency. New ideas threaten established knowledge. They raise questions about central social values because thoughts have the power to destabilize and overturn social hierarchies. New knowledges are considered dangerous as they challenge the white, heterosexual, male domination of the Western knowledge industry. It is feared by the establishment that knowledge will lose its sanctity and become tainted as the dominant groups in the academy lose their unilateral authority. The control of knowledge upholds the 19th century concept of ideal citizenship, underscoring the existence of a moral dimension that must be upheld to maintain stability and homogeneity, which are two pillars of strength for a nation. Indeed, accepting what is considered knowledge and allowing it to be taught in schools and universities has created great debate in the last few decades in the United States. Specifically, one can point to the reactionary stance certain states took in response to the inclusion of works written by authors of color into the curriculum. And it is not surprising to note that the voting members of a school board are more apt to ban a book of color when they themselves are on the whiter end of the spectrum, both color-wise and culturally. Bias towards particular material as well as towards a certain type of student is ubiquitous in our schools and universities, especially for certain programs or majors. Need we be reminded of past Harvard University's president Larry Summers' comment about women and mathematics? Despondently, we can conclude that since an Ivy League president feels so comfortable speaking such nonsense in a public forum, we can be certain that there are many others who hold the same appalling opinion. Prejudice against women and women of color permeates the university as they are subjected to gender, social class, and ethnic discrimination. In addition, these students suffer due to their professors' sexist and racist ideologies about their origins, and also about who should be allowed to enter the space of the academy. Undoubtedly, reasons abound as to why assumptions like Summers exist. For example, one reason being, and I quote, restricting entry by employing ostensibly academic criteria is a way in which elites retain their power, end quote. Moreover, space in the real world has boundaries, as do academic disciplines. These boundaries exist because the powerful have, and I quote, a distaste for mixing expressed in the virtues of pure spaces and pure knowledge, end quote. Those with power view their social location as an exclusive club. Therefore, as the gatekeepers of knowledge, historically, they see themselves much in the same way they see race, gender, or social class, as an identity marker that distinguishes and isolates one group from another. Purity of knowledge combined with the preconceived notion of social Darwinism, read, the whiter the better, permits those in power to assume a level of superiority and, with science in their corner, mistreat women of color, since they deem women inept from the first day they enter the university. The text that I analyzed, Telling to Live, published in 2001, was one of the first cultural studies texts to underscore the lived experiences of Latina feminists who share their stories to highlight the abuse that was commonplace during their graduate school years. Each author mentions that she was subjected to cooptation, humiliation, and outright physical abuse. They suffered not only physically, but emotionally, psychologically, and intellectually, simply because they were considered unworthy for being Latinas. Celia Alvarez points out that graduate school proved to be a battle for selfhood, and I quote, I constantly had to fight off their stereotypical conceptions of my cultural and academic identity, end quote. Comparably, for an anonymous Latina, and I quote, it became clear that the troublemakers were students of color and or feminists, and that we were sanctioned for speaking our minds, end quote. Clearly, for being in the minority and daring to enter graduate school, these Latinas were treated horribly. Aurora Levins Morales realized quickly that in graduate school, language served a unique function. It was a tool of exclusion and humiliation. And I quote, a frequent response to those who resist exclusive language is that they are intellectually lazy. Like other forms of gatekeeping, the whole point is that we, and not the gatekeepers, are responsible for getting ourselves in. We must stop what we are doing, forget what we came for, and devote our energies to techniques of breaking and entering. We are required to do this just to win the right to join the argument. If we are uninterested, we are assumed to be incompetent. End quote. The metaphor of a robber breaking and entering to steal something of value, that is, knowledge, which according to the gatekeepers does not pertain to Latinas, comes to mind after reading the above citation. Levins Morales suggests that achieving academic success for Latinas corresponds to the activities of a burglar. From the perspective of those in power, this representation many times is accurate. A few examples that stress the common mistreatment of African American women that attempt to enter fields that are dominated by men are represented and analyzed by Dr. Glenn in her piece, Stepping In and Stepping Out. And this is from the text called Presumed Incompetent. Dr. Glenn introduces a graduate student named Natasha, who mentions in regard to her studies that she constantly feels disparaged because she is told, and I quote, "Black women are less intelligent, that we don't have any place, particularly in my field of political science." End quote. Moreover, another student, Denise, decided to change her career goals after several negative experiences. And she explains, and I quote, "All of my professors were men, white men. I often felt dismissed, and because of that, I had to work harder to make myself be seen because I did not want to be ignored." End quote. And finally, Dr. Glenn discusses Angel, who changed her major from biology to psychology as a consequence of feeling invisible. Her experience screams prejudice. Angel expounds, and I quote, "I even had a professor. I walked into an organic chemistry class. He was just looking at me like, 'You must be in the wrong place,' kind of thing. I was like, 'No, I'm not in the wrong place.' Or I'd gone into a classroom, particularly in my science classes, where I really had very weird experiences. And I knew that it was attributed to my race in particular. It was, professors have come in and have asked if I was there to change the light bulb on the projector. And I'm just like, why would you think that? I'm a student in the class." End quote. These examples emphasize how out of place it seems to the white male professor that an African American woman would actually be in the room to study a hard science. I find this anecdote when the professor assumes that Angel has entered the classroom to change the light bulb particularly revealing of the extreme privilege held by the professor's social location. Furthermore, the fact that he seems oblivious to the possibility that she is a student further reiterates the embedded prejudice that his life experiences and hers corroborate. The fact that all three students were so poorly treated that they each changed their career paths illustrates how rampant geographies of exclusion are across our universities and our society. In being excluded from participation based on gender and race, one can draw a parallel between the historical role of knowledge that has been maintained in our universities and the commonality of the not so successful attempts to broaden who is allowed into the university. The latter ultimately will determine our future knowledge creators. Indeed, racial, gender, and social class divisions must be dismantled for inclusivity to occur. As resistance literature, the text, Presumed Incompetent, highlights the power dynamics within the academy, specifically the marginalization that academics of color encounter throughout their careers, from graduate school through tenure and promotion. The authors contest their asymmetrical relationship to power by exposing unjust treatment, as well as theorizing the socially constructed binaries, specifically those within gender, class, and ethnicity. Brenda J. Allen writes that the individual authors featured in Presumed Incompetent write, and I quote, "in order to reveal the ubiquitous power of numerous dominant ideologies in U.S. society, including white supremacy, patriarchy, heteronormativity, classism, ethnocentrism, and rationality," end quote. In point of illustration, I would like to underscore how these ideologies affect one Latina academic through analyzing Dr. Lugo Lugo's chapter. And the title is A Prostitute, a Servant, and a Customer Service Representative, a Latina in Academia. Professor Lugo Lugo's essay revolves around an exchange she has with a white male student in her ethnic studies course one day. In sum, he asks her to cancel class because he does not feel like being there, and since his father pays her salary, it is only fair that she does what he says. In this oral exchange of about 1 minute prior to the start of class, the professor points out the power dynamics that reflect much broader social realities and injustices. Such an exchange would never happen if the professor was male and/or white. However, due to his social location, the student felt that he had the right to make this demand. And the binary markers of male, female, and white Latina underscore the privilege that the superior markers purport to their owner. Another student, during this discussion that took place that day in class, and Dr. Lugo Lugo did change the topic to focus on white privilege, I quote, challenged her classmates to just think of the kind of nerve that it takes for any student not only to think that he owns his teacher, but to feel free and secure enough to tell her in front of 49 classmates that he, in fact, does. End quote. At least there is one other student in the course that understands the inherent superiority of the white male student as misplaced arrogance, self-importance, and condescension. However, the exchange lends itself to a critique of our society and our universities, especially some of the larger ones, as they exist today. Dr. Lugo Lugo blames the media and pop culture for a unilateral representation of Latinas as sexy and nothing more. To illustrate this point, she refers to how a Google search for the term Latina will return pornographic sites in the top 10 results. Furthermore, when one compares the two Academy Award-winning actresses, Angelina Jolie and Penelope Cruz, although both are considered quite sexy, only Miss Jolie receives attention beyond her physique. Miss Cruz exists merely as an exotic beauty. Therefore, as a Latina professor, Dr. Lugo Lugo understands that many of her students do not expect her to be intelligent, and as such, her course and the learning of the material are considered by some to be unnecessary. The idea that an ethnic studies course is deemed unnecessary by many of her students, and indeed their parents, in addition to the fact that the professor is devalued based on her gender and ethnicity, demonstrates that our societal mores must be reevaluated, along with our definition of knowledge, as well as to whom we consider appropriate gatekeepers of said knowledge. A student displaying his masculinity and whiteness as markers of privilege speaks to his professor, Dr. Lugo Lugo, as if he were the colonizer and she the colonized. Obviously understanding the historical relationship underscored here by her student, the professor does understand why he is conditioned to speak to her in such a disparaging way. Society, that is history, has demonstrated to him that his professor, for her ethnicity and gender, inhabits the wrong side of more than one binary category, placing him on the right side. Furthermore, as Dr. Lugo Lugo affirms, many students feel that since we have elected an African-American president in 2008 and 12, we are living in a post-racial society. Moreover, they also share the view that their courses at the university should conform to and reflect their fleeting desires, as if they were consuming food or shopping at the mall. The consumerist mindset underscores what students expect from their classes: entertainment. This performance aspect to teaching also concerns Dr. Lugo Lugo, as she compares what the students see as sharing the same building or the same space. Starbucks, right next to the classroom. The fight for mental space brings about another issue for today's knowledge producers: How do we encourage deep introspection and critical thinking about important subjects that impact all people on the planet when a student is focused on the next sale at Forever 21 or GameStop? In her essay, the author discusses such difficulties facing the corporatization of our universities. She writes, and I quote, "Students have begun to treat their professors and other university workers as clerks or cashiers at a department store who are there to serve and satisfy their every need." End quote. As knowledge becomes envisioned as a commodity by new generations of students, the relationship between who holds the power in the classroom has shifted enormously. The professor, not necessarily viewed as the figure he once was, has lost his place on the pedestal within society. However, it must be stated for male professors it is much less likely that they will suffer such open abuse as women of color. When color becomes part of the equation, as well as gender, women academics must negotiate carefully, as they do not hold the exact position that their male counterparts do, and they certainly are not considered members of the dominant culture in society or in the university. However, this last point, entering the dominant culture, has become the goal, not to acquiesce to the status quo, but rather to transform it to be more inclusive. In summation, Dr. Glenn's essay describes the issue at hand, and I quote, "I am a Latina, telling my mostly white students that racism, discrimination, and inequality still exist and affect all our lives, theirs included, both in ways that can be measured and ones that cannot. I also tell them that they are implicated in those things, that they must do something about them, and their comforts come at the expense of others. And of course, they do not want to hear that, especially not from me." End quote. Reaching the students, having them understand that their consumerism impacts others' lives and potentially negatively, does allow for the beginning of a process that can be labeled subversive. Having succeeded thus far, gaining entry into graduate school, achieving a position and tenure permits academics of color the opportunity to reach the future citizens of our nation and potentially shape their thoughts towards a more inclusive mindset. Academics of color, like Glenn and Lugo, are engaging in and critiquing the knowledge taught in our universities with benefits that are far-reaching. With the breakdown of traditional disciplines and the creation of new ones, there is a knowledge revolution in the making. As forces for humanization and for change, not only are Lugo, Glenn, the Latina feminist group, and other academics of color challenging the status quo, they are inscribing themselves into history. By allowing new knowledges to permeate our universities, that is, by supporting and celebrating men and women of color in graduate school and on the tenure track, we can aid in their success towards ultimately redefining our universities and eventually our nation. Consequently, all ethnic groups will gain a much larger role in contributing to the knowledge we teach, which in turn will serve every citizen who is a part of the 21st century in the U.S. Teaching in today's universities becomes a subversive act for many academics of color, in that they consciously choose to reject the status quo by including counter-hegemonic points of view, thereby redefining knowledge and inviting encounters between every member of society in the interest of changing not only our education system, but also the ideologies that inform policy and curriculum. And letting go of the old discipline-specific silos of knowledge and allowing for constant updating in our classrooms and across our universities, there exists an opportunity to become an inclusive nation that privileges all sources of knowledge equally. And I quote, "In the end, we have nothing to lose but the constraints of our history." End quote. I would add that we have a great deal to gain by being more inclusive of knowledges of color in our universities and our society. As you continue on in your studies this semester, think of how you can embody social justice by calling out abuses in our society and asking difficult questions of yourself and those around you. It is only through learning, and sometimes unlearning, that we will gain a truly just society that embodies our values. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Quinn Sanchez, for sharing such insightful scholarship. We are really proud to have you on our faculty. Excuse me. Now it is time for the presentation of the special awards. The deans will announce these awards, and we are acknowledging the recipients who indicated that they are in attendance today, both in person and virtually. Dean Mary Chinnery will now announce the special awards for the School of Arts and Sciences.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am pleased to announce the recipients of the following awards. I ask them to come up to the stage to accept their award. Please approach the stage from your left side and leave the stage from the other side. The Award of Excellence in Studio Art is presented to Brandon Conte. The Academic Achievement in Biology Award is given to Kira Kavanagh, attending virtually, and Landry Cheetah. The Academic Achievement Award in Chemical Sciences is given to Nicholas Langer, attending virtually. The Global Justice Award in Criminal Justice was earned by Alan Rosales, attending virtually. The Dance Scholar Award is presented to Allison Ferry and Quincy Sutherland, attending virtually. The recipient of the Gale Judge Class of 1957 Memorial Award in English is Catherine Cook. The Leadership and Service Award in Exercise Science is given to Kayla Wilson and Leah Weiland. This year's Health Profession Studies Academic Achievement Award goes to Kelsey Ryan, attending virtually. The History Program's Global Awareness and Perspectives Award was earned by Hannah Moran. The Academic Achievement, The Academic Achievement Award in Interdisciplinary Studies is presented to Jessica Heim, attending virtually. The recipient of the Sister Stephanie Sloyan Mathematics Award is Megan Castro.
Congratulations.
This year's recipient of the Natural Sciences Academic Achievement Award is Dakota Wright, attending virtually. The Psychology Award for Excellence in Academics, Research, and Community Service was earned by Jacqueline Titelbaum. The Religious Studies Award of Excellence goes to Margarita Moran. The recipients of the Social Work Ethical Leadership in Social Justice Award are Adriana Castro and Eileen Seda, both attending virtually. The Dr. Manuel Salas Memorial Award in Spanish is presented to Jocelyn Ruiz, attending virtually.
Thank you, Dean Chinnery. I am pleased to announce the recipients, oh, sorry, no, that's not me. I am sorry. Dean Jennifer Edmonds of the School of Business and Digital Media will announce special awards for students in that school.
Good afternoon. I am pleased to announce the recipients of the following awards. I ask them to come to the stage to accept their awards. The Robert A. Panton Award in Accounting goes to Rachel Pause. The Sister Muriel Lynch Business Award is presented to Daniel Burnham, attending virtually. This year's Delta Mu Delta Epsilon Zeta Chapter Book Award goes to Shelby Housley. The Digital Communication Leadership Award goes to Taylor O'Keefe. The Graphic Design and Multimedia Programs Academic Excellence Award in Design was earned by Amy Schwed, attending virtually. The Academic Excellence Award in Marketing is presented to Gianna Chiesi. Congratulations.
Acting Dean Amu Magaya of the School of Education will announce special awards for students in that school.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to the following students. The Teacher Education Award for the best performance in elementary education goes to Jacqueline wins. And the Teacher Education Award for the Best Performance in Secondary Education goes to Samantha McClelland. This year's Kappa Delta Phi Tau Gamma Chapter Award is earned by Caitlin Valmas. And last but not least, the Special Education Award is given to Antoinette Haynes. Thank you very much.
Dean Teresa Wormser of the GCU Hackensack Meridian Health School of Nursing will announce the special awards in that school.
Good afternoon, everyone. I proudly present these exemplary awardees. This year's Professionalism in Nursing Award goes to Vincent Shelley. The recipient of the Excellence in Clinical Practice Award is Cindy Reinman.
Dean of Students Imani Jennings will announce a special university award.
It is now time to recognize the recipient of the St. Catherine Medal. The St. Catherine Medal for Student Achievement is an annual award for presentation at universities affiliated with Kappa Gamma Pi, the National Catholic Graduate Honor Society. The medal depicts St. Catherine of Alexandria, encircled by the spiked wheel of her legendary martyrdom, and holding a quill and scroll, which symbolize learning and wisdom. St. Catherine serves as an inspiration for individuals who aspire to obtain knowledge and to stand on their own ground against constraints placed upon them. The medal is donated by Justine Stewart Carlston, GCU class of 1966, who is a past national president of KGP. It is presented to a student in recognition of leadership and service to the university. This year, I am most pleased to present a bronze St. Catherine Medal to Kayla Rodriguez.
Now I am pleased to introduce Brianna Griffin, President of the Student Government Association, who will introduce the student government officers for 2020.
As I read your name, I ask the officers of the Student Government Association to stand at your place and be recognized. Executive Board, Mary Varange, Vice President. Kaylee Donovan, Secretary and Commuter Life Representative. Senators Allison Ferry, Jessica Harlal, Hannah Moran, Valerie Broleff, Eric Janicki, Gianna Feliciano, and Matthew Schroeder. Representatives: Allison Ferry, Campus Activities Board President, Tian Addison, Diversity and Inclusion Representative, Melissa Antonowitz, Mercy and Mission Representative, Erin White, Residence Life Representative, Yasmin Amaro Garcia, School of Arts and Sciences Representative, Carissa DeStefano, School of Education Representative, Deshawn Lamar Baldwin, Student Athlete Advisory Committee Representative. Please join me in congratulating the officers of the Student Government Association for the year of 2020. Thank you. I would now like to ask all the new students, freshmen, and transfers to please rise. The Georgian Court pinning ceremony is a symbolic welcoming of all new students in the Georgian Court community. Please take the Georgian Court University pin you have received and place it through the left shoulder of your clothing. Georgian Court University is an institution of higher learning where growth and development are fostered, excellence is pursued, and the highest standards of integrity are expected in the environment for the entire university community to grow through shared educational, cultural, social, spiritual experiences. To this we do pledge. We will now recite the Honor Code Pledge, which is printed in your program. Please repeat after me. On my honor as a Georgian Court University student, I do pledge to respect the dignity of all persons and all life as gifts of God. To be a person of integrity in my personal conduct and academic pursuits. To exercise justice for human dignity in our attitudes and relationship with others. To demonstrate compassion through acts of solidarity within the GCU community. To seek out opportunities to prepare for a life of leadership and service. By taking this pledge, you have chosen to join the community of scholars and to commit to the values embodied in the university's mission. This pledge affirms your personal commitment to be a person of integrity in your attitudes and respect for Georgian Court as a Mercy University in the Catholic tradition. Congratulations, you may now be seated. Now I'd like to introduce Brianna Marone. Brianna Marone graduated from GCU with her Bachelor of Science degree in nursing in 2017. While at GCU, she was president of the Student Government Association and received the prestigious Visionary Lions Pride and Lions Loyalty Awards. She served on many GCU university committees, including those that hired President Marbach and Dean Jennings. She now works as a nurse at Jersey Shore Medical Center in the Cardiac Surgery Intensive Care Unit and in the Ocean Medical Center Emergency Room. In addition, she has served as a supervisor for home care patients in Monmouth and Ocean counties. Join me in welcoming our distinguished graduate, Brianna Marone, class of 2017.
Sorry guys, it's windy, it's hot, it's almost over. Don't worry. Ask your faculty and staff for extra credit for attending today. Good afternoon, President Marbach, members of administration, faculty, staff, and most importantly, the newest members of the Georgian Court community, class of 2024. It is an honor to be back here at Georgian Court University speaking before you. It was only 7 years ago that I sat in the same seats all of you sit in now. Now that I said that aloud, I am starting to feel a bit old, but I am telling you, these next 4 years will go by before you know it. When I was asked to speak today, my initial reaction was of excitement and joy. I was fortunate enough to spend all 4 of my academic years here at Georgian Court, and honestly, my experience was nothing short of amazing. But then I thought, is that what you really want to hear? Do you really want me, some woman you've never met before, take a trip down memory lane? Many of you probably did not even recognize the word convocation. I know I didn't as a student sitting in your seat. I was ready to get up, explore campus, hang out with my new friends, and prepare for the next week of classes. So I thought you might like to know how to make the best out of these next 4 years at Georgian Court University. I also wanted to recognize I am not speaking to just any group of students. I am speaking to some of the strongest and most resilient individuals, the group of students who were quarantined during their senior year of high school, something that should have felt like such an amazing achievement and momentous period of time was really taken away from you in an unfair way due to the pandemic. And that's something I cannot ignore. So I want to say I am so sorry that this happened to you, and I know that the faculty and staff here at GCU feel the same way. I also know they will do whatever it takes to make sure you get the most out of your experience here. Your strength gives us strength, and we are here today to tell you that although you have sacrificed a lot, today is a new day. Today marks a new beginning, and I assure you the best is yet to come. Although there is a great deal of unpredictability going on in the world, you will come to find that Georgian Court will be here not only to help you navigate during these uncertain times, but will support you, guide you, and encourage you every step of the way. As a nursing student here at Georgian Court, I found that when it came to my nursing classes, my classmates and I became like a second family. We were a team, a support system. I realized that if we were going to get through the next 4 years, we would need to count on one another. In fact, I still rely on my classmates. I currently work side by side with some of those amazing nurses I went to school with, which I now call coworkers and best friends. We studied hard in school together, and now we work together in the hospital with the same team member mentality while taking care of the community. And trust me, it's because of the bonds we formed here at GCU that has helped get us through the last 6 months. During some of the most difficult times, treating the sickest patients, it was comforting to have a GCU graduate in the hospital to lean on. So be sure to get to know your classmates, even if it's virtual. Because regardless of your major, whether it be education, biology, business, or communications, you'll find that you're going to need your classmates for support. You will also realize that you're not alone, that at times everyone is scared, frustrated, overwhelmed, and that you are all learning, growing, and figuring it out as you go along. And not just your fellow students, get to know your professors. I still see many of my nursing instructors inside the hospital who have taught me as a nursing student and now are still teaching me as a registered nurse. I cannot escape them, even if I wanted to. And just like my fellow classmates, they continue to support me and cheer me on. So my advice is build connections with your professors. Go to their office hours, email them, call them, ask for help. They want to see you excel, even long after you graduate. My next piece of advice is to get involved. You have probably heard this statement about 100 times already, and you will hear it about 1 million more over the next year. To truly understand what GCU is about and all it has to offer, you need to get involved. Think about it. Tuition is not cheap, And God bless all of you with scholarships, but even if someone else is paying for you to attend, they want you to take advantage of everything college has to offer. And sometimes the most important lessons you learn happen outside of the classroom. When I found out I would be talking today, I decided to use social media and ask my friends and family for input. I posted the question, what advice would you give yourself as a freshman in college? I received the following answers. Be open to new things and new people. You might be surprised who you become friends with. Be kind to everyone. You never know who is struggling. Always wear flip-flops in the shower. Take advantage of internships. They're a great way to figure out what it is you do and don't want to do. Don't try to fit in. There are people out there who will accept you for you. Have fun, but learn discipline early. It will set you aside from the rest. Get out of your comfort zone. It's in those moments where you grow the most. It's all going to be worth it. Push through those sleepless nights. And lastly, pizza after 12 a.m. is always a good idea. What I found interesting about the answers provided is that most of them had nothing to do with the classes themselves. Sorry to all the professors. The common theme here was to make the most out of your experience by meeting new people and taking advantage of what your school has to offer. And in not doing so led to my friends' biggest regrets in college. Finding a club to join at GCU will lead you to meeting people you might have never thought of talking to before. People from all different backgrounds coming together to support whatever it is you are passionate or maybe just curious about. Whether it be student government association and serving the student body, joining wild or emerging leaders to enhance your leadership capabilities, or joining the Black Student Union to help build a more diverse and inclusive GCU community, it does not matter what you decide, just as long as you get involved in something. I promise you will not only make new friends, as the honorees and SGA members here today will tell you, but you will also learn about yourself, what you stand for, and who you really are. That is what college is really about, growing into the person you are destined to be. After you graduate GCU and get older, you will find very few opportunities that will lead to this amount of personal development. So take advantage of it. This is your time to focus on you and decide what you want your life to look like. More importantly, what kind of person do you want to be? Because you don't have to be the same person you were when you arrived here. You will find the best version of yourself here at Georgian Court. All you have to do is look. So study hard, get involved, get to know your classmates and professors, then find your passion and run with it. Thank you. Georgian Court University has a very special tradition. Each and every class is presented with a flag during Convocation. The flag is returned to the university 4 years later during your commencement ceremony. Your class is represented by this flag. This flag. The members of these previous classes have left a legacy for this university, and now your class has the opportunity to do the same. I am honored to present you with your class flag. Here you go. Over the years, you will have the opportunity to leave your mark, create new traditions, and leave your own legacy for future generations. The flag will be returned at commencement as a symbol of you joining with thousands of men and women who are proud to be called alumni of Georgian Court University. Congratulations and welcome to GCU. At this time, I would like to call Vittoria Bertoni and Tyler Pushko from the class of 2024 to receive the class flag. They're already up here. Vittoria and Tyler demonstrated both academic excellence, and they are persons of mercy in their Summer Gen 101 Pathway to Bridge class, and are thus appropriate representatives for their class. Congratulations.
As a member of the class of 2024, we accept this flag.
Well, we're almost there. Last page. Now I ask Jeff Schaefer, Director of Campus Ministry, to come back and offer a special blessing to the new students.
We begin this academic year in a time that is uniquely challenging. In this time of pandemic, we seek to knit together our campus community while social distancing. We endeavor to excel academically in a variety of virtual environments, and we seek to keep friends, family members, and ourselves safe. This at a time in which our society is confronting economic hardship and the reality of systemic injustice. Still, we are Georgian Court, and we are up to the task. Please stand and receive this blessing. Your love, O God, is constant, and we find protection under the shadow of your wings. As students, may we feast on wisdom and knowledge. Let us drink from the river of friendship and community. Immerse us in mercy. Bless us for lives of meaning and purpose, lives marked by extraordinary compassion, respect, integrity, justice, and service. Lives that will transform the world in which we live. Bless us, O Lord, with your light, so we may reflect your love with brilliance. Bless us for this semester, so we may overcome any and all obstacles to our human flourishing. This we humbly ask, the author of life. Amen.
Congratulations to all of our continuing students recognized this afternoon. Incoming first year and transfer students, I hope that the academic and personal excellence of our continuing students inspires you. As we conclude the ceremony today, let me remind you that your Georgian Court relationships matter. After the stage party has recessed, well, I think first we were supposed to sing the Alma Mater, but I don't see that here. So let's do that now. It's in your program. Thank you. Thank you all for coming today. It's such a pleasure to see you all in person, and I wish you the best academic year you can have. As we conclude the ceremony today, again, let me remind you, as many of us have said, at Georgian Court, relationships really matter. And after the stage party has recessed, please take a few minutes to greet new students closest to you and congratulate our awardees. Even though we need to stay slightly apart and masked, we are a community of unity. Let's take the opportunity with students, staff, and faculty actually here together in person to strengthen our bonds. But first, please remain standing at your seats until the stage party has recessed. Thank you.